Hello and welcome back to the Q&A session for SUSU Elections 2015. We're moving on to our third area for this evening, which is VP engagement.
Do you guys want to make your way to the sofa?
So while they're making their way over, I'll tell you a little bit more about the role. So VP engagement, they're supporting the student groups to maximise their interaction and outreach. The zone is the key to engaging the student community, promoting the charity work of the student groups and ensuring that we are perceived as the lovely bunch of students that we are around the local community. So Jenny and Hannah, welcome to the stage.
Hello. Thank you.
Or the sofa of grill, as Amelia likes to call it.
I have never said that in my life.
So we've obviously had some questions come in and we've also got some directed questions. Obviously it's a very free discussion, so feel free to chat amongst yourselves as well about certain issues if they come up. So with the first question we had sourced from Twitter earlier on, what are you guys going to do to tackle voter apathy in students?
Is this for student elections or general elections?
Go for the student elections in this one.
Sound like you want to go, Jenny?
Oh no, well, one of the main things I think that students don't vote because they don't know what SABs are, they don't know what student leaders are, and I think that needs to be tackled from the very beginning. From the moment they get to uni, they need to be able to know what SABs are, what SUSU does for them, like how being able to interact with SUSU benefits them as well as everyone involved in SUSU. So it's really a question of students knowing who the SABs are, what SUSU is, what it does for them.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like the reason students don't vote is because they don't know what SUSU is about, really. So what I've been trying to do, like my campaign at the moment, is to go and talk to people, and then like, if you have questions, please ask me, because I love questions. And then what I've been trying to do is sort of get more, instead of doing standard spam Facebook with the same message, is trying to get different kind of things out there, be more interactive. So obviously, I feel like we need to get new methods going. So for example, I've been trying videos, short clips, pictures, like trying to keep it more interactive, get it more accessible, kind of being there to be able to talk to students about what they actually...
You see it a lot when you go... I've been round halls and I've spoken to people that are part of societies, and you talk to them and you say, do you know what SABs are? And they'll be like, no, I don't know. And it's the moment we're campaigning is too late for them to know what SABs are, something that they need to know from the very beginning.
So how would you two change that next year? How would you almost stop that from happening? Because obviously you said it's an issue now. People don't know what the roles are. They don't know what they're clearly defined as. How will you engage them in the SUSU elections next year?
Well, the way I would get them to know what SABs are from the very beginning as freshers is, I've been saying that there needs to be a lot more face-to-face interaction, a lot more Q&As like this should happen in halls for students to be able to know, to ask the questions that they want to ask, and to be able to hold the SABs to account and be able to figure out what they want from their next SABs. If they don't know what the SABs are, they don't know what the SABs are doing wrong, or they don't know what they want out of a SAB. So they need to know that from the very beginning.
So Hannah, what would you do?
I kind of do similar things. I get out of the office. I'm not really... I like going out and talking to people, so it's more being like, I'm going to be here in this place, like at this time. Come and talk to me, sort of thing. Or if they don't want to talk to me, then I would go out and talk to them, because it's so important for the running of the university essentially as well, because obviously, and also for the student benefit, because obviously they gain transferable skills, and obviously I think students kind of forget that it's not all about just having a position. It's about being able to take something away from it. So it's more trying to get the right side that would draw students in. Marketing, essentially.
And Chris said it when he was talking about creative industries. Last year there was a regular SAB show on Surge, and it's gone. And I feel like those are ways for students to know what their SABs are, is for us to talk about it, to put it in our media outlets, whether it's on West 16 or having a weekly blog from SABs. SABs should be bringing out a weekly blog that is not only put on the SUSU website, but on the West 16 website, so it's collaborating with media societies as well for them to know.
Being innovative and just coming up with new ideas, not being afraid, having confidence, and not being afraid to go out and like talk to people, really. Yeah.
You say about going like around halls and getting face-to-face involvement and doing things like this for the Q&A, but setting up these events take a lot of time and a lot of people are involved. You say in halls, how many different halls are there? Is that actually feasible?
Well, you can bring Connaught into Monty, you can bring Chamberlain into Glenair. So you can definitely have some strategic halls that you would target, but you also need to have some on campus for private rented people. So yeah, it takes time, but that shouldn't be something that stops us, and it should be something that we plan earlier on.
Yeah.
Hannah, what do you think about bringing the rival halls into sort of mingle at the same meetings?
I think it's about, like you said with Monty and Connaught, it's kind of about approaching it in the right style. So, for example, I was social studies Spanish for a year, and what we did with languages was we had Battle of the Languages. So it's kind of making it kind of fun and making it kind of engaging, and kind of going about it the right way instead of being we're going to bring you together and make it kind of fun, obviously within reason, without getting too much competitiveness in it, but it's about kind of going about it the right way, collaborating with students who want to get involved, because there are plenty of them out there once you start talking to them. So it's just, about going in the right way, kind of being creative again, really.
So if we move from engaging to intimidating, Amelia, your question.
I hope I'm not that intimidating.
So Hannah, this first one is going to be to you. Though you both do talk about this, local residents is obviously an area that you both work with, and you want to create a better image for students around the local community. So Hannah, you specifically mentioned it quite a lot. How are you going to improve our relationship with local residents? How are you actively going to make a difference?
It's going to sound fairly vague, but I honestly would I'd like to be able to go to the meetings to be able to talk to them about it, because it is something on their agendas. I've messaged around already, asking them what do you think the students could do, and it's all the small things, quoting Shruti there. It's about kind of coming together with ideas. I feel like I can come at a student perspective, but without their kind of collaboration as well, and their ideas too, I feel like I couldn't give a definite answer for that, because...
Do you think, though, that they might see it as, you're obviously one representative, you're obviously lovely and great, but there's a vast proportion of people that don't really care what the local residents think? Do you think there's going to be that kind of conflict?
There will be at first, I'm sure, but again, it's all about doing the right marketing, going about it the right way, kind of getting more engagement in that sense, of trying to be more innovative again, trying to convince people and kind of keep it short, kind of make it exact as to why we should be doing it. So, and I think students do care, because residents care. I've heard you've probably heard lovely stories as well.
If I can chip in on this one,
sure.
We were external engagement zone yesterday, and there's this pack for students moving out. And in one of them, there was this sort of a label to cut out, which was hi, we're these people, and we've just moved in next door. And that kind of thing, where you can post from the very, from day one that you're in your house, when you're in your house, put it through your neighbour's letterbox to sort of start that relationship with your neighbours. And then just also, I think what would be good would be getting a group of students together with a group of local residents to start, so a bit like the Meet the Streets that Ellie's been doing, that kind of thing, and possibly in a bit of more of an official sort of meeting to get some ideas and discussions going from an official meeting to start off a relationship with them then.
So if we move from the community and move to the individual student, and this is a very good question, whoever sent this in is going to test the metal with you two. How do you define an engaged student? It's a toughie.
I'd say one that's collaborating quite regularly with students. I think there's so many different ways to engage nowadays. For example, online, in person. I'd say an engaged student is someone who kind of understands what they're coming into, what they're working with. For example, if they engage with a university or the student union, that they get on, they understand the concept of the student union. They know what they're doing with it. I don't know if you've got.
So the way I see it, an engaged student with SUSU is one that knows about the opportunities, that knows what SUSU is and who the SABs are, but that can get involved if he wants to get involved, but knows about all the opportunities.
Yeah.
But how are you going to check that someone is engaged? How are you going to know if someone's wanting to engage in a certain different area? How are you going to let people get in contact with you two in particular? Because you can't read through hundreds of emails each day.
No, well, if it was just to get in contact with me, or with one of the student leaders, I think it would be really good to have one day of the week or a few hours in the week where people can book their SAB, book their student leader. So that's in my manifesto.
So SAB parental kind of thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Just being able to for them to be able to come and see you openly So also to say in it was done last year where the SABs were on the concourse in Susu, ready to answer any questions people had for them.
Hannah, what do you think of that, booking a SAB, that kind of idea?
I think it's a good concept, but for me personally, I'm more of a go out and talk to people. So for me, it's more about making social media accessible, for example. Hence why I wanted to bring in like more your skills workshops for people, so that they know how to kind of engage more in that sense. So if they wanted to tweet me, I keep repeating this. I'm a massive social media nerd, so I'm always checking my social media. So it's more about being able to access like your SAB at different levels. And then, I think that's a good shout, to be fair. I'm not saying it's not a bad shout, but for me, again, I feel like I'd be more comfortable being able to go to the student. I'd like to be able to...
I think they're all different things that have to work together. It can't be one or the other. It has to be things that work together. I've said it, I think social media needs to be reinforcing things that have been said face-to-face, and we have to be able to go towards students, but students have to be able to come towards us if they want to. It has to go both ways. It's a two-way relationship, really.
And also it's engagement with loads of different types of people. Some people might not be comfortable with like face-to-face kind of communication, but some may prefer social media, or some may prefer a SAB to
emails,
be in their
blogs,
or they might prefer their SAB to be in their kind of environment. So it's all about thinking about different dynamics.
So Jenny, your turn to sit in the hot seat now. Amelia, question.
Firstly, I just wanted to say, I really like your T-shirts. I like what you've done there.
Thank
You've
you.
got really
I
into
haven't
it.
been home since physical campaigning started, so I haven't been able to change it.
Well, it fits in quite well, so I'm impressed. So your question, Jenny, is about how you want to take student talent for events and use them with exhibitions and things like that, which is a nice idea, but how would you go about, firstly, organising that, and secondly, how would you judge who should do what, and how do you define this talent? It's very vague.
So it's something that works a lot with the CI part of it. So with the VPDCI, they were talking earlier about having student groups as talent, as support groups. So that's something that I want to see a lot more of, having DJ SOC being able to be a grad ball or be a freshers ball. When it comes to exhibitions, we have a lot of artists at the Winchester School of Arts, and they do, whether it's fashion or any pieces of art, we have to be able to show off that talent here and say our students are doing these things, and organising fashion shows on Highfield campus, or organising some people from Highfield campus to go up to Winchester School of Arts, or maybe creating a sort of buddy scheme between someone at Highfield and someone at Winchester, that kind of thing.
With your Winchester idea as well, I know everyone every year tries to merge them in some way. Are we all just being a bit silly? I mean, we're in two different locations. People have tried year after year. It seems like nothing's working.
It's really hard. Like, we put a lot of effort into it, but the Winchester School of Arts students still aren't satisfied, and they still need extra support. And I think it's something that has to be worked on year after year, and we shouldn't decide that it hasn't worked, so we're going to stop. We need to keep on
Are
trying.
they not satisfied because they...
Well, let's see what Hannah thinks about this. Hannah, sitting in the corner.
I feel like it's all about engaging them the right way, and also, as Jenny mentioned, with time management, it's all about the time management. So if you engage them from early on, I feel like you can go out it a kind of better way, as opposed to kind of being like halfway through the year, do you want to do a fashion show here? So I feel like it's about like really engaging them like from the beginning, and again coming up with new ideas. It's quite short and simple in my mind, really.
So for anyone sitting at home, watching on that camera or in the room, 1 minute each, why should we be voting for you as the engagement sabbatical candidate?
Should I start?
Go for it.
So I've got the experience on the zone. I've joined the external engagement for the zone through my JCR as RAG officer in first year. I went on to join the RAG committee, and I've been RAG officer this year and tried to push as much collaboration between groups, whether it's with enterprise groups such as Enactus. And I feel like through my role, I've been able to see where the problems are for us on external engagement zone. And I'm really passionate about the job. I do everything to do with the engagement zone. I do it a lot on a daily basis, and I really want to be able to bring my experience to the SAB position.
To Hannah, what about you?
Well, again, I've not quite been engagement from day one, but I have been in SUSU from day one. I've always had a genuine interest in how our university and our student union is run. Again, I'm a very passionate person. I like hearing ideas. The crazier, the better. And I'm all about talking to people, working with people. As a leader, I'm more about putting ideas together with my team as opposed to me being like, dictate everything. I like to hear new ideas. I like to hear fresh ideas. I'm all about innovation. And also, as I put in the debates, collaboration, communication, community, it's what I want to improve. I feel like we need to start giving the student union back to the students and giving them the voice that I feel like has kind of been lost a bit. So, yeah.
So thank you, Hannah and Jenny. Can we get a big round of applause for them, everyone? Thank you.
So that is your Q&A with your VP engagement candidates. We will be up next with VP student communities after a short break.